Tornadoes are some of nature's most terrifying forces. They form without warning, change direction in an instant, and leave destruction in their wake. But on May 31st, 2013, near Reno, Oklahoma, a tornado emerged that defied all expectations, breaking the rules of nature itself. From its record-breaking size to its unpredictable behavior, this was no ordinary storm. It was a monster that left meteorologists speechless, storm chasers scrambling, and the world in awe. Here we reveal the amazing tale of the Reno tornado, investigate the science underlying its perplexing behavior, and show you a video you must view to believe. You really should not miss this.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, horizontal!
South of I-40, on 400 south of I-40. It's going to be right here in front of me, Mike. It's coming down right now. Very, very, very low to the ground. The entire vortex coming down to the ground, Mike. I've got to back out of it. It's very, very close.
Most often occurring in what we refer to as Tornado Alley, an area across the central U.S., are tornadoes. More tornadoes than any place else in the world, this region covers sections of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, and South Dakota. Here, the wrath of nature meets the ideal environment for tornado development. Still, what makes Tornado Alley so deadly? Let me dissect it. To develop, tornadoes must combine warm, wet air with cold, dry air and appropriate wind patterns. These components coming together produce strong supercell thunderstorms. The strongest tornadoes, those that leave behind long-lasting devastation, can be created by supercells. On the afternoon of May 31st, 2013, meteorologists were watching a powerful supercell develop near the Oklahoma City area. The storm was growing stronger, but even the experts didn't realize what would happen next. The stage was set for a historic event.
South Florida, I gotta tell you, my hands have been sticky all day. There's just a ton of moisture in the atmosphere right now, and a couple of storms that have already begun to fire here. Gonna show them to you. Off to our north here, this is one that's gonna head toward, we believe, Cashin. You can see a well-delineated base to this.
As the storm began to develop, storm chasers across Oklahoma were ready. For them, tracking and documenting tornadoes isn't just a hobby, it's a career. They study the behavior of these storms in real time, gathering data that helps us understand how tornadoes form, how we can predict them, and ultimately how we can save lives. But no one knew that the tornado forming near Reno would be one that would rewrite the rule book entirely. A tornado landed just south of Reno, Oklahoma at 6:03 p.m. That was not any ordinary tornado, though. The storm started to widen at an unheard-of speed almost instantly. This tornado developed from a tiny funnel into an incredible monster in minutes. The Reno tornado was the biggest tornado ever recorded at its height, a staggering 2.6 miles in width. Let's consider something more familiar to help us grasp the scope. The tornado was so large that, at its widest point, it could have readily eaten 22 football fields set side by side. It was broader than Central Park in New York City. As the tornado grew, so did its ferocity. With wind speeds that exceeded 295 miles per hour, the Reno tornado was classified as an EF5, an extreme force tornado, the highest possible rating on the enhanced Fujita scale. EF5 tornadoes are known for their incredible destructive power, capable of obliterating entire neighborhoods in seconds, and this tornado didn't disappoint. Witnesses described the sound of the tornado as a deafening roar, almost like the roar of a passing freight train, except magnified 1,000 times over. And this was only the beginning. The tornado would continue to break records and challenge everything scientists thought they knew about these deadly storms. One of the most unsettling characteristics of the El Reno tornado was its unpredictability. Most tornadoes follow a relatively straight path controlled by the wind patterns in the atmosphere. However, the El Reno tornado defied this pattern, taking unpredictable twists and turns with its path changing direction multiple times within just a few minutes. This made tracking and forecasting the storm incredibly difficult. The first known fatality in storm chasing history, the tornado claimed 4 storm chasers, 3 professional and 1 amateur. Though the tornado stayed over relatively open ground, hundreds of storm chasers, ignorant of its great strength and irregular movement, were caught off guard. A powerful internal sub-vortex slammed these teams, according to a Doppler on Wheels-based study of how the tornado affected them. 8 deaths and 151 injuries were caused overall by the tornado. It has become among the most researched and notorious tornadoes ever due to its fury and sheer size, as well as its irregular movement and the deaths connected with this one. The most dangerous tornado in storm observing history, the National Weather Service said of the tornado. Along with rush hour traffic, thousands of Oklahoman people tried to outrun the storm by heading to the highways in an effort to drive out of the estimated path of the tornado. Unlike the advised course of action, inhabitants greatly risk themselves by trying to flee the storm by car. Had the tornado stayed on track and passed over the crowded motorways, more than 500 lives may have been lost. Typically, meteorologists rely on a combination of weather radar visual tracking and wind data to predict the path of a tornado. But the El Reno tornado made all of that information nearly useless. It seemed to have a mind of its own, moving unpredictably and in ways that no one could anticipate. The El Reno tornado's unpredictability didn't just catch meteorologists and storm chasers off guard, it proved to be deadly for even the most experienced tornado trackers. Among those in its path were Tim Samaras, a world-renowned storm chaser, his son Paul, and their colleague Carl Young. Tim Samaras was a leading researcher in tornado dynamics, and his team was always on the cutting edge of tornado science. As part of the TwistX research team, they sought to study tornadoes up close. Normally, Tim drove a reinforced truck designed for extreme weather, but on this day they were in a Chevrolet Cobalt, a vehicle ill-suited for the conditions. At 6:30 p.m., just 27 minutes after the tornado touched down, the storm chaser team lost contact with Tim Samaras and his team. With limited power and stability, the Cobalt couldn't escape the storm's intense inflow winds. The tornado's internal sub-vortex struck their vehicle with radar-indicated winds approaching 200 miles per hour. Tragically, all 3 perished, marking the first known storm chaser fatalities in history. The El Reno tornado impacted numerous storm chasers. Meteorologist Mike Bettis and his Weather Channel team were thrown 200 yards in their SUV, leaving 1 team member severely injured. University of Oklahoma student Billy Prater and his companions sought refuge under an overpass, a highly discouraged action, but survived. Radar analyses later revealed the tornado's internal sub-vortex exhibited unpredictable movements, at times stationary and at other times traveling over 100 miles per hour. This chaotic behavior caught even the most skilled teams off guard. In the aftermath, the storm-chasing community mourned the loss of Tim, Paul, and Carl. Tributes included a coordinated GPS formation spelling their initials across 3 states. The Discovery Channel aired a special episode of Storm Chasers honoring their legacy, while National Geographic published an in-depth analysis of the tornado. The tragedy spurred new scientific efforts. Researchers launched the largest crowdsourced tornado data project to date, compiling video footage, GPS logs, and radar data. This work led to the development of the Tornado Environment Display, a tool designed to synchronize storm footage with meteorological data. The incident reignited debates about the risks of storm chasing. Some called for regulations, but others argued the practice's immense value in providing real-time data and advancing tornado research. AccuWeather's Mike Smith noted that these were the first storm chaser deaths in 40 years of the practice. The El Reno tornado changed how we view tornado behavior. Meteorologists and researchers began analyzing every aspect of the storm to try and understand what made it so unique. One of the key aspects was the tornado's massive size combined with its multi-vortex structure. Typically, tornadoes are one massive funnel cloud, but the El Reno tornado had multiple smaller tornadoes rotating around the main funnel. These smaller tornadoes within the larger funnel caused extreme wind speeds at different levels. Some of the wind speeds exceeded 295 miles per hour, the strongest winds ever recorded for a tornado. It was a perfect storm of chaos, an unstoppable force of nature. The multi-vortex structure made the El Reno tornado especially dangerous. These smaller vortices can form, intensify, and dissipate in seconds, creating highly unpredictable and localized areas of extreme destruction. Combined with its sheer size and erratic movement, it was a tornado unlike anything we've studied before, according to one of the researchers. The tornado also challenged the way we interpret Doppler radar data. Traditional radar images showed the tornado's massive structure, but the chaotic wind patterns made it difficult to predict its path or intensity. This storm underscored the need for improved technology and better models to forecast supercells and their tornadoes more accurately. After the El Reno tornado, new initiatives were launched to improve early warning systems. From advanced radar systems to deploying storm tracking drones, the lessons learned from this tornado continue to shape the way we prepare for and respond to severe weather. The El Reno tornado caused incredible devastation, but it could have been much worse. While the tornado claimed 8 lives, including those of Tim Samaras and his team, its enormous size and strength could have led to an even greater loss of life if it had struck a densely populated area. The storm was a reminder of nature's unpredictability and the importance of being prepared. Possibly because of still fresh memories of the destruction wrought by the EF5 tornado that destroyed Moore on May 20th, many people chose to flee the Oklahoma City metro for safety as the storms drew near. Interstates 35, 40, 44, and 240 became parking lots as the storms approached, already crowded with rush hour traffic. Residents claimed the roads to be a scene of anarchy. People were heading southbound in the northbound lanes. Everyone was running for their life. Some people think that the evacuation was partly caused by a controversial call to action made on air by KFOR-TV chief meteorologist Mike Morgan. Morgan said that people who didn't have underground storm shelters or safe rooms should get into their cars and leave south of the tornado's path while the station was covering the storm. If no basement or other underground shelter is accessible, this council ran counter to the advised strategy to visit an internal room, bathtub, or closet with no windows. Usually in tornadic winds, these areas are far safer than a car. According to Dr. Jeff Masters of Weather Underground, the death toll might have easily toppled 500 if the tornado had passed exactly over one of the crowded roadways. The footage captured during the El Reno tornado is some of the most jaw-dropping in tornado history, from storm chasers braving the edge of the funnel to satellite images capturing the storm's massive size. These visuals show just how awe-inspiring and terrifying nature can be. This footage isn't just incredible to watch, it's also vital for scientific research. Every frame of the El Reno tornado helps us understand more about how these storms form and behave, pushing the boundaries of what we thought we knew. The legacy of the El Reno tornado is inseparable from the story of Tim Samaras, Paul Samaras, and Carl Jung. Their work and their sacrifice continue to inspire researchers and storm chasers around the world. They remind us that even in the face of unimaginable danger, there is a drive to learn, to understand, and to protect. A tornado watch means conditions are favorable for tornadoes to form. A tornado warning means one has been spotted and you need to take cover immediately. Knowing the difference could save your life. The El Reno tornado was a once-in-a-lifetime event, a storm that broke all the rules, shattered records, and left an indelible mark on science, safety, and the human spirit. Its story is one of awe, devastation, and discovery, reminding us of both the power of nature and the resilience of those who face it. As we learn from events like this, we grow stronger. We find ways to prepare, to predict, and to protect. The El Reno tornado may have been one of the most extreme storms in history, but it also showed us the importance of perseverance in the face of adversity. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the incredible story of the El Reno tornado. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that explore the incredible power of our world.